What's going on, everyone? My name is Danny GG, and today we will once again be talking about Halo Infinite. So from last month's development update from 343 Industries, we got some more insight into Halo Infinite and some new campaign screenshots. So for about the past year, we've known that Halo Infinite is going to be very different from previous Halo games and will feature large areas to explore, side missions, character upgrades, new abilities, and many other semi-open world features. But my question is today, is that a good thing for Halo? How will 343 expand on an open world style game while still making it compelling and have a story at its core? Will the story live up to something like Halo 2 or 3? So today I have my friend Gary here, and we're going to be talking about the concerns for Halo Infinite's open world design, and we're going to compare it to a few other games that have tried something in the past. In case you haven't played the Gears 5 campaign, the first about 20% and the last 20% are very linear, similar to a classic Halo campaign, but the entire middle chunk of the game, they give you these open world environments, and they give you a vehicle that they call the skiff, and they kind of give you a large area to explore, and basically the next segment of the game is open world. So I'll show you a map here on the screen to give you kind of an idea, and as you explore the map, kind of like any open world game, more points of interest become revealed. So also on this map you have main objectives marked and side objectives and like kind of hidden secret things. So you're given free reign to go about this area with your vehicle and explore, but sometimes the side missions aren't very fulfilling and they can just kind of be pointless. Like, they don't really add to the main story at all. Alright, Gary, so me and you recently played through the Gears 5 campaign, and overall I think you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it, but you had a few complaints in some parts. So you want to talk about some of the parts of Gears 5 that maybe weren't so great and why that was?
Yeah, so overall the campaign was really fun. I think definitely where it kind of fell was in the areas where it switched over more to open world. It really just seemed like it was time to get in the skiff and do pointless things or a whole bunch of driving up until you got to the point where the story kept going. Even the side missions seemed somewhat monotonous of just shoot people or shoot things, and there wasn't really any depth. It was kind of like nothing added to the characters or the story. It almost seems like they're there just to give you something to do in between all the driving, because some of the distances in the story are long, and even then it's really just there almost as a gimmick, I want to say. Like, this missions kind of end quick and there's no true depth to them.
Yeah. So if you remember from the July campaign reveal for Halo Infinite, there was a brief moment where he pulled up like his mini-map, on the screen, and at the top there were like upgrades, and you can see the map and you can see different objectives. How do you see Halo Infinite handling this differently from Gears 5? Or handling it the same?
To be honest, I don't know. Definitely, a Halo game has never really been like this, and one of my fears is definitely that it'll turn into just objectives that you do on the side, but that's all they are, is just objectives, another thing to run into and to shoot people. And that's kind of the fear, is that it'll turn into something, oh, here's something you can just do while you're driving, but nothing really to add to the character of Chief or to the game itself.
Yeah, and going off of that, so 343 Industries has only made Halo 4 and Halo 5, and neither of those games have had any open world elements. I guess you can make the argument in Halo 5 they had those like mini hub world campaign missions, but those are just plain awful. But there's really no experience within that company of people who have made any sort of open world game, so that is another thing to be cautious about. And we saw the same thing happen in Gears. Like, no Gears game before has ever had any sort of open world environment. Like, you had you could choose to go left or right in like a linear mission, but nothing like Gears 5 featured, and it kind of fell flat in those areas for sure. So another thing, Gary, in Gears, there also were upgrades in the campaign. So as we went along, remember we found those upgrade modules, and you kind of upgrade the character Jack to get different abilities and stuff. So also in the Halo Infinite, at the top there was a tab that said upgrades. So I imagine there's going to be a very similar upgrade system with a skill tree kind of thing. So how do you think that's going to work in Halo Infinite? And especially if you're playing co-op, like let's say you want to play the third mission in the campaign, but you already have an upgrade, like, what do you do if your friend is just wanting to play for the first time?
I think it should have similar styles to Fallout, where you can use your points to customize different paths in your special tree, where you can build a character towards your playstyle. Same way in Borderlands with the 3 separate skill trees in characters.
That'd be cool.
Even with Gears, we saw success because it was kind of like you could upgrade Jack to do cool things, but it was never really anything that was absolutely game breaking or like that gave you a super clear advantage. It was minor things that at the very end became really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what you said about comparing it to Fallout and like the special skill tree kind of like base stats. And one thing I was thinking about, from the last update, they released that screenshot of the day-night cycle, and in the nighttime you can see there's like the Forerunner beam tower, and there's like a bunch of jackals like patrolling it at night. And going with your idea, it'd be cool if you could kind of upgrade like your stealth capabilities, like maybe your crouch movement speed or something, or like, how much noise you make during night or something, and you could be more like a stealthy chief, which isn't completely out of the bounds of like a Halo story, and it's not something game breaking, but it's just something to give players more freedom to like choose how they play. And
I think if the open world aspect needs to be successful, it needs to adopt a Borderlands or Fallout type deal. I don't know how deep they can get into like different like groups of people or factions within the Ring planet. Or I think the best way to do the side missions is you discover new things about the Forerunners and things about the Ring to discover secrets of their past and put it into a game. I think that would be the best way to really integrate it, instead of just, hey, let's capture this battery from the enemies. Let's just kill everyone and that's the mission. There should be some sort of discovery with the side missions that gives you info that you might not have known before. Something that really makes it feel like I'm learning more about the world or the Ring or the Chief himself.
yeah, that'd be cool. I'm always in for, like the lore exists in the game, but not everything's handed to you. It's kind of up to you to go out of your way to find, all that extra bits to make the story that much better. So it's like the story, like important story points aren't taken out of the main storyline, but it's just like the icing on the cake that you have to go find. And once you find it, you'll be like, oh, that's cool. And then like maybe tell your friend like, oh, I was exploring this one part in like the snowy region, and I went by this one mountain, but like you don't want to tell your friend where it is to spoil it. And like you found this really cool like terminal. Maybe it gave you like an extra cutscene or something, or like an audio log or like a weapon skin, or I don't know, and they tied into the multiplayer somehow, like an armor
Absolutely,
coating.
that's the way to go about it.
Yeah, because Gears 5 was like, you did the side mission, and now here's another upgrade pack for Jack, and it was like,
Absolutely. The one also thing that I hope doesn't happen is I hope it's not a long segment of just driving the Warthog to and from locations just to progress the story.
Just to drive.
It can't be something like that. But we've also seen those theories where the portals within the Ring could be ways to like fast travel.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that could get out of that too.
Yeah.
I definitely think it can be handled well. There's companies that have done it in the past. There's games that do it phenomenally. I always think of Borderlands 2 when I think of amazing open world games. And the best part about being semi-open world is you don't have to completely take it to a Borderlands 2 level. You can take the best aspects of games like that and put it into small segments of the entire narrative. And there's just new ways to discover new things about other characters, or just depth to the story. As long as that's there, the open world part will work.
Yeah.
It just needs to have depth. There needs to be a reason for us to go out of the way to do those missions and to explore, and to really feel like we're getting something of value from putting our time into those side missions. The last thing, it can't be a gimmick to get more upgrade parts or currency or experience or any of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, no, I really like that you used Borderlands 2 as an example, because when I think of Borderlands 2 and like some of the most memorable moments actually, I think came from side missions rather than main story missions.
Absolutely.
Like, just a stupid one to think of is like Face McShooty, you know, that crazy guy, and he's like,
Oh
shoot
yeah,
me the
of
face,
course.
like something so dumb, but I
Yeah.
mean, I guess they didn't really put that much thought into it, but like, um, it's something that they didn't just like slap on there. It wasn't just like another fetch quest or, you know, kill this guy or something. Like, I guess you just kill him, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, or like the Firehawk side quest where there's like those cult people
mhm.
following her, and then you discover more and more about them, and then at the end you get a legendary shield for beating it,
Yeah,
which turned out to be really good to have in the beginning parts of the
yeah.
game, and it was overall a good thing, and it was worth doing the missions for.
All right, everyone. So that's going to do it for today's discussion about Halo Infinite. I really want to know what you guys think about Halo Infinite's open world potential, so make sure to leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I really would like to get there within like the next week or so. That would be really awesome. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about today. Halo Infinite is going to be great, but it's always good to just make sure that we're keeping realistic expectations and looking at some games in the past. So that's all for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.